Welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming my 32-week pregnancy vlog a day early. I usually don't film until Thursdays or maybe Fridays, but today I'm doing it on Wednesday because I'm honestly a little bit under the weather this week. I will go into detail in a little bit about why, but I'm just not feeling good this week at all. Another reason I'm filming early today is because it's nice and quiet in my house. My little girl is sleeping, my 2-year-old, she's asleep. Kurt is working, and my son is at his grandma and papa's house right now. So the pregnancy app that I use on my phone is called The Bump. I go in there and every week they send you updates on how big baby might be this week, how she's growing and all of that kind of stuff, how you might be feeling and all of that. So according to week 32, baby is about 16.6 inches long and 3.75 pounds this week. So she's getting big. Let's see. As far as how I'm doing this week, more Braxton Hicks contractions. And yes, they are getting a little more intense, which it'll ask, are they getting more intense this week? And I've noticed that they've picked up. Not that they're getting more frequent, but I've noticed that when I do get them, they do get a little more tighter, a little bit more uncomfortable, and they last a little bit longer. Darker nipples, so baby can see them better when it comes time to breastfeed. I am noticing that. I was in the shower yesterday and last night, and just doing my usual wash down of myself. And I glanced down as I was washing my breasts area, and I noticed just how bigger my nipples look this week. I mean, they look huge compared to what they usually do look like when I'm not pregnant or breastfeeding. And they're definitely darker this week. So I know that my body is definitely gearing up for the big day, which is not too far away now. So shortness of breath, don't worry, baby is getting plenty of air. Last week when I did my 31-week pregnancy vlog, I mentioned to you guys that I could not breathe. Oh my gosh. I could not catch my breath at all last week. It seemed like as soon as I would get up and just walk a few steps, I would have to, because I couldn't breathe. This week, for some reason, it has tapered off a little bit, and I'm not short of breath hardly at all this week, which is great. Heartburn, go ahead and pop an antacid. Which I honestly, if you guys have, those of you that have followed my channel from the beginning, I think I've mentioned when I did my very first pregnancy vlog for you guys and I announced my pregnancy, I was around 4 weeks pregnant and now I'm 32 weeks. So those of you that have followed me from the beginning know that usually in every vlog that I've done up until now, I've mentioned the indigestion, the heartburn, and just how bad it's been throughout this whole pregnancy. So yeah, heartburn is definitely something that's just a given. Enlarged breasts that may leak. I don't have any leakage going on right now. And vaginal discharge. Your body is preparing for delivery by preventing infection down there. I have noticed an increase in my vaginal secretions. Sorry if that's a TMI for some of you that might be watching that might think that's kind of gross, but this is a pregnancy vlog and I am going to tell you about what's going on with the pregnancy in my body. So yes, I've noticed a difference just how much I'll notice, like every now and again I'll notice, oh, I need to go to the bathroom and just clean up a little bit, and I'll have a nice size, quarter size sometimes, or even a $50 size of just looks like egg whites. So that's pretty much what's going on this week for her and for myself at 32 weeks. Now, into why I am vlogging a little early this week. Sunday, this past Sunday, myself, Kurt, and the kids, we went to my mother-in-law's house and my father-in-law's house, and she made a huge spread of food, and I was feeling great that day. I was eating fine, and I was feeling fine, and then we left there around probably, I would say, around like 6 that evening to come home. Now, granted, when I left her house, this heartburn. I just left feeling like I had just eaten too much food, you know, being that I'm now officially 8 months into my 8th month of pregnancy, my stomach is squished. I don't have hardly much room in my stomach to eat a whole lot anymore. I do still have an appetite, but I just can't eat that much. So I have to eat smaller, frequent meals. But I was eating pretty much nibbling on things and, you know, snacking on things. And then when we finally had our meal, I ate a pretty good plateful. You know, but once we left there, I felt so like overly stuffed. And you know that feeling, some of you may notice, like if you overeat and you know you've overeaten and your stomach feels so full that it's like burning and you feel like your skin's gonna rip apart. When I got home that evening around 6:30, 7 o'clock, I was having a hard time just even bending over, because bending over, putting pressure on my stomach, my abdomen, and my belly and all that, it just hurt really bad. And so I tried to, you know, take a warm shower to see if the pain would subside some. I took some Tums, I took some Tylenol, and I tried to just get in some comfy clothes because I had on like my maternity stretchy pants, but you know, as I wear them, you know, the longer I wear them through the day, the tighter that they seem to just feel around my stomach, and it's just not comfortable when I have them on all day. So I usually, when I'm home, I lounge in stretchier pants, like pajama pants that stretch really good with my stomach right now. So they're not tight. So when I got home, I put on a really baggy shirt, you know, and just some really comfy pajama pants. And I tried to just lounge a little bit until we went to bed. My in-laws ended up keeping my son that night for a sleepover because he loves having sleepovers with Grandma and Papa. So he stayed that night. And so I just had to try to get my 2-year-old down for bedtime. So once I got her in bed around 8:30, I went to bed. I just went in our room and I lounged in the bed with my big body pillow, and I tried so hard to get comfortable. And it just seemed like as the night progressed, the more pain I was in. So Kurt finally came to bed around, I want to say it was around 10 or 10:30ish. I had finally gotten to enough comfortability, that's even a word, to where I was able to doze off into a little bit of a sleep. And I was woken up around 1:30 in the morning from the pain. I woke up and I was in so much pain. It was unreal. I went into the bathroom and I tried to have a bowel movement, thinking maybe that I'd just eaten too much. If I go and just try to relieve myself, maybe it would help. But just pushing, trying to have a bowel movement hurt so bad. So and you know, the pain was so severe that it made me get sick. I can't really throw up per se, but I was dry heaving because the pain was so bad. I knew at that point what was probably going on. And I've mentioned to you, to those of you that have watched my videos for a while now, I've mentioned a while back that I suffer with Crohn's disease. For those of you that don't know what Crohn's disease is, it is a long-term inflammatory disease of your entire digestive system. And you can be in stages of remission, which is basically where you're fine. You have no problems, you're great, you can pretty much eat whatever you like as long as you stay away from your trigger foods, which trigger foods for everyone that suffers with Crohn's is a little different sometimes, but trigger foods are more for me. Trigger foods are like beans and corn and things that are hard to break down. A lot of fibrous things. Fiber in general does the exact opposite to me of what it should do. Fiber usually helps you stay regular, and it actually does the opposite to me. It makes me bind up, actually. So, you know, it causes, when you have a flare with your stomach, when you're not in remission and you go into having a flare up with your stomach, your intestines just becomes really inflamed, really swollen. Not your whole intestines, but just where the disease is in your intestines. It just becomes inflamed and swollen and irritated, and anything passing through that piece of intestine that is inflamed, it hurts so bad. By 3:30 in the morning, I was in the bedroom in tears, crying because I was in so much pain. And I woke Kurt up, and he asked me, you know, what can I do for you? And I said, I honestly don't know what to do right now. I said, I think I'm gonna have to go to the hospital because I'm in so much pain. And I didn't know what to do at that point. And I didn't want to have to wake up my daughter to have him take me to the hospital because she would just lose it. You know, she'd taking a toddler to the hospital in the middle of the night is just not a good idea. So I told him, I said, let me just see if I can drive myself. So I got in my car and I got literally like 5 houses down on our street, and I had to turn around and come back because I was in too much pain. I could not drive. So I called an ambulance. And they came and escorted me to Holmes Regional, which is where I'll be delivering my baby. When I was sitting here waiting to have the ambulance show up to pick me up, I couldn't tell if I was having contractions, like labor contractions, because the pain was so severe. I couldn't decipher between, oh, I'm having a flare-up or I'm in labor. So the EMT in the ambulance that was sitting in the back with me on the way there, he went ahead and put an IV in my hand, so that way when I got to the hospital, they would be able to go on and just give me fluids right away and stuff, just in case they needed to. So they got me in there, and they hooked me up to IV fluids right away. The doctor that was on call, it wasn't my baby doctor that I see that's going to be delivering Isabella. It was just the doctor that was on call for that night. He came in to check my cervix to see if I was having contractions, and because he asked me, he said, you feel like you're having contractions, and I said, honestly I can't tell. I'm in so much pain right now that I can't tell whether or not I'm contracting or if it's something else. So he checked me and he said, oh, you're 2 centimeters and 50% of face. And I'm like, what? And I just lost it. I completely lost it. I started crying. And I'm like, this cannot be happening. There's no way that I can be this dilated already at 32 weeks. And I just was freaking out. I was so worried that I was going to be delivering Isabella way too early, that I was going to have her within the next couple of days. And I was just flipping out, you guys. I was so scared. And the nurse that was in there with me, she said, it's okay, it's okay. She's like, a lot of women, some women can go 2 centimeters until they're 40 weeks. So she's like, don't panic right now, everything's okay. And so she calmed me down a little bit, but they hooked me up to the monitors for the baby, which is, if you're a new mommy and you haven't delivered a baby before, they put these little, they look like little round discs, plastic discs that they put on your stomach. They use 2 of them. One goes at the top to monitor your contractions, and one goes at the bottom to monitor the heart rate of the baby. And then they strap them around your whole body with like a stretchy band that clips. But they're so tight around your stomach, and just the pain that I was in, it wasn't helping. They went ahead and gave me, because the doctor had said I was 2 centimeters, they went ahead and gave me a couple of injections in my arm right here of the uterine relaxant. I don't know the actual name of the medicine that they gave me, but it's supposed to relax your uterus and keep you from having contractions. So they gave me a couple shots of that, and then they went ahead, because they weren't sure if I was, based on me being 2 centimeters long, they were just taking precautionary measures, and they gave me 2 steroid shots to increase her lung development a little faster, and then increase the placenta development. So in case I delivered early, her lungs would be a little more mature. But my doctor, my OBGYN, came on the floor in the hospital. He came on around 7 a.m. So I was still at the hospital at this point. And he came in to see me, and he looked at my chart, and he said, we're going to go on and do just a stat ultrasound on you and see how she's doing. And I was still in so much pain. So he asked them to give me a shot of Stadol, which is like, it is a narcotic, but it's a pain reliever that they would give a pregnant woman that's in labor that isn't wanting to have an epidural. That's what they would give you. So they gave me a shot of that, and it actually relaxed me enough to where I dozed off for about an hour and a half, because I had been up all night not sleeping from the pain. So I was able to get a little bit of sleep in, and then they came in to do the ultrasound, and they did an internal ultrasound as well. She was doing just fine. Everything looked fine. My amniotic fluid looked fine. And she's actually in the head down position now, so that's great. So she is in position for birth, so whenever she does decide to come out, I don't have to worry about her being breech or something, which is great. Excuse me. And then the internal ultrasound showed that the doctor that checked me when I first got to the hospital checked me wrong or something. And the internal ultrasound showed that I was 0% dilated, 0% effaced. My cervix was still pretty long and closed, and nothing was going on whatsoever with my cervix. So I was like, thank you, God. I was so scared when he told me I was 2 centimeters. I was like losing it. But luckily she is staying put in there for a while longer. So the doctor wanted to keep me overnight. He wanted to keep me for at least 24 hours just to monitor me. So they went ahead and just admitted me to the hospital Monday morning. But by Monday night, I was still in pain, but just being in the hospital bed and having these bands around my stomach, I knew at that point that I wasn't in labor. It wasn't what they thought was happening. It was just that I was having a really bad flare with my Crohn's disease. Now, usually when I have a flare with my Crohn's, I'll have diarrhea and I'll have strong gas pains and things like that, but it'll last for a few hours and then I'll be fine after that. I just have to watch what I eat for the next day or two. But then I will get these really severe Crohn's flares, and I'm down for the count for probably a week. And I end up in the hospital. The last time he told me to go on and continue taking my Crohn's vitamins that I was taking before I got pregnant. I've only seen him a couple times through the pregnancy. So when he's not at the doctor's office, I see the midwife. And the midwife was like, well, just to be safe, just don't take anything during the pregnancy. And I'm like, okay. So he told me to go on and start taking my probiotics again, my aloe vera gel caplets again. And he's like, I don't know why she told you to stop taking those things. They're perfectly fine while you're pregnant. He's like, you need to get on those again, like ASAP. So I'm a little ticked right now that the midwife told me not to take those things, and I ended up like this. So that is pretty much where I've been and what's been happening since my last vlog. I'm on the mend now that I'm home, but I'm still having some pain. I'm still having to watch what I eat. Yesterday I tried to eat light, like I had some biscuits for breakfast, I had some plain pasta for lunch, and then for dinner I just had like crackers and stuff. And then by the evening last night I was in a lot of pain again. So, but I was able to sleep last night, and then when I got up this morning I was doing a little bit better. So I'm on the mend, but I know it's going to take me a few more days. So, but I'm going to do a quick rundown of some things that I have in front of me here that I'm taking right now and that I'm eating right now to just show you guys what my diet is right now. So, when I'm having a really bad flare-up with my stomach, the only things that I can really tolerate that will not put me into severe pain with my Crohn's is I will eat, I'll get like the Lipton box soup. So I will eat some of that, or I can do like chicken broth. I can sip on some chicken broth because it's very, very easy to digest. I will get some Jell-O. Got me some Jell-O. So I will eat that, and I got some crackers. I got oyster crackers, and then I got just the regular saltine crackers. So whichever one I feel like nibbling on, through the day, I can have either one of those, but crackers are usually pretty easy to digest, so I got me those. And of course, lots of water. Try to stay away from carbonation. Try to stay away from foods that are going to give you gas, because the gas buildup and the pressure does not help when you're having a flare-up at all. And then what I'm taking right now for my stomach. I'm taking Tylenol, which is okay to take while you're pregnant. So I've got some extra strength rapid release gel Tylenol caplets, and they're 500 milligrams each. So I've been taking these like every 6 hours. And then I'm back on my vitamins that I was on before I got pregnant for my Crohn's. So I take aloe, 10,000 milligrams of aloe vera per capsule, which is really good for like inflammation and healing all of that inside. Aloe is so good for that. My daughter just woke up. She's crying there. So I'm back on those. And my probiotics, this is what I'm taking right now. It's 40 billion like active cultures, and they're like really, really good for your stomach. So you can also find probiotics in like yogurts and things like that too. So if you can tolerate yogurt, those are good for you too. And so I'm taking that. And then I've been like popping Tums here and there for like the heartburn and the indigestion. But my doctor said, you know what, try Pepcid. Pepcid is a little bit stronger, so just try taking that and see how that helps. Oh my gosh, you guys, what a difference. I cannot even compare the two, because Pepcid is like a complete life changer for me right now. I take 2 a day. You can't take more than 2 in 24 hours. So I'll take 1 in the morning. This is what I got. You can buy these at Walgreens or CVS or any pharmacy near your house, just over the counter. And there's 50 in here, and I think this bottle was about 20 bucks. But you can only take 2 a day, so you don't go through them that fast. But I take 1 in the morning, and I take 1 at night before I go to sleep. And oh my gosh, you guys, it's almost like as soon as I chew it and I swallow it, it just coats my stomach, and I feel relief within like seconds. Tums has never done that for me. So, but that's pretty much it, you guys, for this week. It's kind of a boring vlog, but I wanted to just give you an update on how things have been this week. And I've had appointments this week was supposed to be so busy. My son goes to speech therapy and occupational therapy twice a week. So Mondays and Wednesdays he goes to therapy. I canceled both of those appointments. Yesterday was Tuesday. I was supposed to go for my salon appointment that I told you guys about, that Kurt surprised me with. I called and rescheduled that appointment. And tomorrow, I didn't cancel my prenatal appointment for tomorrow. I go at 1:45 to see my doctor. So I'll be able to follow up with him about how I've been this week since I left the hospital. So I'm going to that appointment. But that's it. I mean, that's like all I've done this week, except lounge on the couch and watch TV and just use my heating pad and take relaxing baths and watch, eat light and just sleep whenever I can. And that's pretty much all I can do right now. So that is pretty much it for this week, you guys. I will update you again next week at 33 weeks. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber, and I will talk to you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.